Hi everybody, my name is Paul Fletcher and I am the Channel Development Manager for Tech as a Service and Tech Data. Today what I wanted to talk to you about was the sales pitch for Tech as a Service. Hopefully during your time and relationship with Tech Data, you've heard about Tech as a Service, the subscription model that we've actually got out there already in the marketplace. What I want to talk to you about is how we move that forward. So subscription. The ability to take all of your offering to a customer, the hardware, software, services that you do, and turn into a monthly payment. Now, hopefully already you've seen some of this slide before, so you will have seen and heard some of the training around how this is relevant in the marketplace already, such as the car lease in the automotive industry, the Spotify, Sky TV, Virgin TV package in the media industry, the fact that there's already a lot of as a service out there in the marketplace, the software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service. And also the consumer side of things is even starting to go to a subscription model. But today, wanted to talk around how you move from the traditional way of selling. My customer rings me up, asks me for the price for 100 units. How I move from that capital expenditure, that £61,000, how I move that to a subscription of 53p per seat per day. How do I change that? How do I actually get that conversation going? So how do I approach this with my customers? Do I ask them simply if they want finance? My advice in that instance is no, don't. Just talk about subscription. Just instead of going back and say, right, we've sent over the price in there, 61,770. Did you know you could subscribe to this? Ask them that question. Now, if I was to say, would you like finance on this? The stock answer is no, because people have been trained to say no. They've been trained by media and everybody else around them to say no. But if you ask them about a subscription, did you know you could subscribe to this? They have an image of receiving a magazine every single month. It's not that, but it opens up the... No, I didn't. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about that? Now, that is a much better starting place than, no, I don't want finance. Talk to them about how it's relevant to the purchase order or the pricing you've just given them. Right. Obviously earlier I set you down the price and it's £61,770. How about if I could get that down to below £59,000? Would you be interested in that? Oh yeah, I would. That's quite good. And how about if I broke that down into a monthly payment, of around about, 1,600 and some pounds a month. And, I can even break that all the way down to 53p per seat per day because you had 100 users that you put in that equipment. Wow, that sounds great. You've changed how you do it. You've talked to them about how this will help them. Instead of you having to pay all of this up front, £61,000, your VAT on top of that is another £12,000. Now, when you take it on the finance, you don't have to pay the VAT up front. Plus, over the 3-year term, it's actually going to cost you less. It's only going to cost you just over £58,000. That's how it's going to help them. Break it down into that monthly payment. Now, for you get paid the day of delivery as a reseller. This is really key. So if it's a new customer to you, you never really dealt with them before, you don't know if you're going to get paid. Well, you do. You're going to get paid by the finance company the day of delivery. For your customers, how can you help them? Talking small, if you're talking to them in much smaller numbers, 61,770, big number, very scary. £1,600 a month, much smaller. 53p, hang on, all the emotions gone. And at 53p, it kind of makes it easy to add more things on. And also, this should cost your customers less, as we've talked about that example. 61, just short of 62,000, all the way down to just over 58,000. There's quite a bit of a saving there, and that should make it easier to sell to your customers. Here's an example. Let's have a look at this. So we've got some small form factor Dell Vostros, monitors, keyboards, and mice. Let's say we look at 100 of these units delivered out to the customer. Let's say with a bit of margin on it, that's £61,770. Now, how about, Mr. Customer, if I could get that down to 58,228? Oh God, that sounds really good. Now, how about if I, bring that down to 1,617 per month? Great, or even 53p per day. Great. Now, this is how it works. We've now moved the customer from 772, 53p per user per day. The emotions start to disappear out of this. They start asking you things like, great, what could I have for 60p, per user? So how does that work? So it's as simple as it's 1,617 a month, or divide that by 4.3 to give us a weekly price. We divide that by 7 to give us a daily price. And we divide that daily price by 100 units, because it's how many Del Vostros or how many of these units have gone out. And that gives us 53p per seat per day, which totals £58,228.92p. That's saving the customer over £3,500, as well as spreading the, look, the customer was bought in anyway because you're spreading the cost. You've taken them from having to spend over 60 grand to only spending £1,600, per month. Hang on, and then the other benefit is you've just saved them £3,500. These are the things you should be focusing on with your customers. So remember, don't ask them if they want finance. They're just going to say no. They've been trained to say no. Keep it relative to the PO or the quote from you. Keep it relative to why on earth they should be interested in the tech as a service or the subscription, however you want to term it. Talk to them about how this can help them. Remember, you get paid. That's a really important thing. That's how we can help you. But for them, talk to them in those smaller numbers. Talk to them about breaking it down. Take the emotion out of the sale. If you take the emotion out of the sale, it's easier to add things on. And ultimately, this should be costing your customer less, so it should be easier to sell to them. So the benefits in summary are, this should help to differentiate you from the competition, as well as helping your customer. It should shorten the refresh cycle, so getting them to change kit out every 2 or 3 years rather than every 4 or 5 years. Helps you manage the customers for life, so you know when they're going to be needing to do something else, because this is going to be coming up for a refresh. Helps you sell more services and add-ons, and then ultimately, the most important thing, helps you improve your margins, your profitability, and protect your cash flow. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview of how we sell it. That concept that we've talked around there fits to all the different types of customers that you've got, because ultimately all you're doing is taking everything that you've got, breaking it down into smaller, more palatable chunks, as well as it costing your customer less. So it should be easy to sell. If you'd like any more detail, you can see my details on there. Please contact myself, Paul Fletcher, or Elliot Chilton, the BDE, or ultimately the TAS support desk. The details are on there with email addresses and telephone numbers. If you're already signed up on the program and would like some support from a marketing perspective, please contact myself or Michelle Butler. I've also put some details on there about Tech Data Renew, which is our trading offering. There's a link there if you need to be set up. If you need any more details, I haven't talked much about Renew on here. If you've never heard of Tech Data Renew, please go back to the Channel Academy and click on the training on the TD Renew, and that will take you through. But anyway, thank you very much for your time. Any questions, please email and call myself. Thanks a lot for your time. Cheers. Bye-bye.